I'm Vin.
I'm Sori. Portugal, the man, feel it still.
Portugal. I don't understand. What is the man? What does that mean?
I think it's the band name is Portugal the Man.
Really?
That's my guess. Look. Portugal the Man.
Okay, let me see. Portugal. Okay, I don't know anything about these people.
Or maybe Feel It Still is the band.
Well, scroll down.
Look, Feel It Still. Here.
So, usually it has the... Let's see here. Oh, this is a Woodstock thing. Okay. So, we're going to be listening to a band we've never listened to before. So, here we go. Portugal the Man, Feel It Still. For timely topical political commentary, you can hit me up in Middle America with Vin and Sori. I'm about to go... I've stayed away politically from stuff because I just... in a situation where people are dropping like flies and dying, I'm having a very hard time with the politicization of this on both sides, to be honest with you. So I haven't, I don't believe there's any single politician who's responsible for the 90,000 deaths, and I just think it's horrible to try to attribute that to, for Republicans to do it to Democrats and vice versa. I think it's terrible. So I've stayed out of it because, quite frankly, I've just been pretty discouraged by the whole thing. But I'll get back into it because there's other stuff to talk about, I suppose. But anyway, that's Middle America with Vin and Sori. Portugal, I feel like I'm going to have fun on this song, and for that, I'm very grateful. And shout out to all of our new patrons. We usually talk about Patreon and all that stuff in this space, but I'm not going to. But I do just want to give you guys a heartfelt thank you very much. This is a horrible situation all of us are in, and I just, I don't know. The idea that we're providing a semblance of some sort of reprieve, whatever, makes me happy. And situations like this happen. You kind of feel helpless. You can't do anything. So we're here for you. So there you go. And you guys have been there for us as patrons. And if you're not a patron, but you've shared, you've commented, you've said you hated us, you loved us, all of it, it means the world. So we're not going anywhere, but I
know it sounded like a...
I just wanted people...
a eulogy for our channel.
I wanted people to know that. We're not going anywhere. We just started.
All right, ready?
All right, let's go.
And go. Oh, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Very touching
amazing. Oh. It's really inconvenient when the kids are in here because everything gets unplugged. But you're not going to pull out that black parenting and stop it, so...
My hands on myself. Pick out dust them off, put them back up on the shelf. Yes, my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. I've
our channel.
Sorry. I don't think I'm gonna let you pick songs for quite some time.
You can't blame me. It's this guy.
I can 1,000%.
This is the guy that gave me this list.
Again.
You need to give me an updated list for what doesn't fit our channel.
Yeah, that guy definitely pulled one over on you.
I don't think it's necessarily something he wanted to see.
Look,
Actions to.
I'm gonna engage in the song. It's a metal channel, mostly, but it doesn't mean that we can only listen. I mean, we've broken a little bit Eminem and all that stuff, but I don't like. We gotta talk about it offline. But I'm mad at you, Portugal. If you're a fan of Portugal, then, you know.
I really don't think it is. I think he just...
You know what happens when you got a thing of Sprite and you think you're about to ingest some Sprite and then it turns out that somebody switched it on you and you're drinking water?
Yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily have a problem, like a personal issue with water. It's just you were expecting the Sprite. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, dear listener. But that's what happened in this particular circumstance. And inshallah, you know, I'm going to be, don't worry, metalheads of the channel, I will be ensuring that we've got some metal justice on this channel, because
this said rock,
that's very, very
I thought rock
important.
would be okay, but then when I heard it, it didn't really sound like rock.
But again, it wasn't a bad song.
Pop.
It wasn't a bad song. It's just like I said, I'm thinking, you know, I didn't think it was gonna be metal like, but I thought it was gonna be, you know, at least rocky like Aerosmith or something.
Yeah.
Can't keep my hands to myself. I think I'll dust them off and put them back on the shelf. See, the thing about this song is that lyrically it's smart. It's a smart song lyrically, in my opinion.
Okay. Why?
Because I can't keep my hands to myself. I think I'll dust them off and put them back on the shelf in case my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field?
Yeah,
Ooh,
it seemed like left field to me. I didn't understand what her hands being put on a shelf.
Well, his hands. This is a dude singing.
Oh.
What? What?
I didn't know it was a man singing.
What? Are you play the
It's
song?
very high to me.
Play the song. What do you mean?
I didn't know. I didn't know.
I could see why you would think that. Okay. In case my little baby girl's in need, am I coming out of left field? So, I'm assuming this guy's a guitarist and he plays with his hands. So, he's got to make music so that his baby girl can, you know, so he can take care of her financially.
Why does he say he can't keep his hands to himself?
It's probably a double entendre, you know. Usually when a man can't keep his hands to himself, it's because he's running around cavorting. Mm-hmm. But if he makes money with his hands as a guitarist, then it would function pretty nicely for in case my little baby girl's in need. Maybe he's saying he can't quit music because this is the only way he can feed his make sure his daughter's in good shape.
Okay, so baby girl, little baby girl is what gave you the idea that he's talking about his daughter. I kind of thought it was about a daughter. Then when
His
they said
little baby girl's
babysitter,
in need. That sounds like his daughter. Doesn't sound like his girlfriend or jump off or anything like
your
that.
girl could be in need.
I've never heard a guy refer.
Say little baby girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear that, it's
baby,
almost
yeah.
exclusively a literal daughter of his.
Okay. All right.
But that's a big thing. That's a big thing for me anyway.
What?
It's a big motivator for me
to make sure you're
amass enough capital so that the girls never have to depend on a guy. That's like literally number one on my list for why I do everything I do. Is that there's no way in hell any of my girls are going to be in that type of situation. And you know, the boy. It's not like I'm abandoning the boys. I mean, the boys. I mean, we're prepping Dorian with the investment, the stock options.
Yeah, but generally speaking, if anybody gets manipulated or, you know, bullied around by finances, it's generally women.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much you want to share, but I mean, there is a particular situation.
Yeah, I know. I could say that. I landed in a situation where I couldn't remove myself from a situation because I was being financially bullied. And then, you know, you helped me out a lot in that situation, expecting nothing in return. And that was...
I couldn't believe it.
Really weird. Yeah, and what was weird
is
it was... I can't say definitively, but I think it was being encouraged by other members.
Other misogynistic motherfuckers who...
Of the same...
Yeah.
But it was a really, really frustrating feeling because it was like, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, if I had money, I could get out of this situation and I could get into a situation that wasn't like this. But because I was stuck. I was basically stuck.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing that I could do. I didn't have, you know...
literally the lights...
Such a frustrating feeling to
Literally
be in.
the lights were about to get turned off.
Yeah.
And... yeah, it was mind-blowing.
You came through so many times, and it was so bizarre for me to, like, this is an exaggeration, I'm sure, but I literally felt like you were the only person on the planet that would have given me capital without expecting anything in return. Like, I'm sure that there are other men that are like that would see a woman that was in a bad situation like that and would say, let me help you out, and I don't need anything in return, but... I had never met anybody like that before. Every person that I ever knew in my entire life everything had strings attached, except for my mom, but you know, strings attached with everything. So you do something, then they expect something in return.
See, I grew up, my mom was the type of person where she would say, okay, I'm going to the homeless shelter. Because we did. Mm-hmm. We did. Mm-hmm. That's what happened. So I never saw that whole... But see, my mom came up in such a hard environment.
That wasn't even an option in my mind. That was not an option.
Well, and the other thing is she had 3 boys. So you can take 3 boys into very strange situations and yada yada yada, and you know, but predators aren't gonna like go after a cluster of boys. But you had one little girl, so there's no way that was gonna happen. Like, you know, it's just completely different circumstances. But the reason I brought up my mom is simply to say I'd never seen that before. I couldn't
somebody would do that.
Yeah, because I had just recently gone through a situation of breakup, divorce, whatever, but I was still sending money over to the person because they were in trouble or sleeping in a fucking car. So, you know,
Yeah.
So, you know, like, and that was... None of my seed were there. None of my kids were with her. She went by herself. But still, like, you know, and we're still doing it now, you know, but I couldn't believe that.
Oh,
and I know that
frustrating feeling.
I know that that's not really, because this song sounds kind of carefree or whatever, but it was a pretty crazy situation.
Oh, it absolutely was.
To this moment, there's so many things.
I kept thinking I have to just disappear. Like, I was gonna just, you know, I thought of it so many times. I had like this basic plan in my head of what I was gonna... Honest to goodness, if you weren't my friend, I would have disappeared. Like, yes, I had thoughts of like suicide and stuff like that, but then there was also like literal plans of like, I have to get out of here and like disappear off the grid. So, you know, I can, you know.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy situation. So that was a pretty impactful moment for me, and I just remember sitting in my car one time and being like, this is never ever gonna happen. Ever to the girls, ever. I'm never gonna be in that situation.
Yeah, I was explaining to, you know, one of our daughters. She's like, why are you guys always working? You're always working. And I'm like, you have no idea, you know, we've got, you know, a bunch of kids, you know, like you've got all these kids, you gotta provide for them, and you have to, you know, like make plans for the future and stuff like that. And I said, honey, you never want to be in a situation where you could be in a bad situation and you want to get out of the bad situation, but you can't because you don't have the capital to do that. And, you know, she didn't understand because she views us as, you know, my father said, look, after you get married, I don't care what's happening over there. You're never going to come back to my house. So if you're in a fight or you're in a whatever, don't come back over here.
Yeah.
Stay over there. If you come to my door, I'm going to send you right back from whence you came.
Yeah.
And so I knew that. So it didn't matter what happened. Like I wasn't going to be able to go to my dad. So she doesn't understand that because she says, oh, I'll just go talk to, she calls him Mr. Vin. I'm going to just go talk to Mr. Vin about that. I mean, he's going to, and I'm like, yes, not everybody's in a situation where they have a Mr. Vin that will listen to them or take them back. You know what I mean? Like,
and the thing is, I don't even want her to go to me. I want her to have her own capital.
Yeah.
And she calls her own place.
Yeah.
Now, if she comes to me for advice, sure.
Yeah.
But that's still dependent on me. Like,
Yeah.
I want her to have her own little separate little thing, or she can say, hey, Mr. Vin, do you think I should do X, Y, or Z? If I tell her X, but she wants to do Y, she gets to do Y. You know, like, because that's the truest form of her being able to be, you know, liberated from that bullshit. But I'm sure the guy wasn't talking about that completely, but...
I saw this movie one time, or a show or something, and the mother bought the daughter like this wicked expensive bag, and she basically said, like, this is your ticket out in case you need it, because the guy would never know that that bag was worth that much money, you know? Thought that was an interesting way of
Yeah.
kind of...
Yeah.
But anyway.
Brutal stuff.
So he says, oh, woo, I'm a rebel just for kicks. I really like that part when he was saying
Been
that.
feeling it since 1966. I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Well, you know, in the 60s, let me kick it like it's 1986, he says. That's interesting. That's probably when he was born. Like, these guys, he sounds pretty young.
Yeah, he does.
So that's a pretty smart line, because people were actual rebels in the 60s, you know. They were, you know, it's the war movement and all this, the anti-war, yada, yada, yada. And so, like, there was an actual cause to be a rebel about. Whereas, you know, in the 90s, what were people really... Now people are rebelling about, you know, Occupy Wall Street and what's happening right now in the political zeitgeist. But in the 90s, like, there was really nothing...
Masks.
Yeah, there was really nothing to rebel against. Like, what? That's... And then you know, it was reflected in kind of the music. You had grunge, and grunge was just about, you know, it wasn't really a rebellious... You know, you had hair metal in the late 80s, you know, like, there was really nothing to rebel about. But now, people... Or maybe, you know, who knows? Maybe we weren't just weren't conscious to the things that needed rebellion against. I don't know, but...
In the 80s, you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you
Yeah,
know,
but I
before
feel
our
like-
time, but...
No,
you know, it's
but
like,
I feel like in the 80s, like, they were still coming out of, like, certain respectable norms.
Like what?
Just, you know, the way that people should dress, or the way that people should act, or the things that you should say publicly, and, you know, I don't know. Ugh, I hate it when I get hair in my mouth. Yeah, I just think that, because you know how, like, that, like, the hair bands and the different stuff like that, like, it seemed like everybody was kind of coming out of there, going outside of the box. No?
Yeah.
You don't think so?
But yeah, it's just not comparable to the type of rebellion that was happening in the 60s. You had the civil rights movement.
I'm not. I
You
wasn't
had-
trying to compare
you
it.
had-
I just thought you were saying that there's
I'm
nothing.
comparing it and contrasting. Like,
Yeah, okay.
like, you know, hair metal, like, that's not really rebellion. To me, hair metal was more about excess. It was more about, we're not going to have any sort of, you know, speed bumps in what we're trying to do. We're going to do as much drugs. We're going to get as many girls. I'm going to be as glamorous as I possibly can. It wasn't really about rebellion, you know? So, and then this one right here, verse 3, we could fight a war for peace. You see what's interesting is, like, I recognize the name here and I Googled it, and sure enough, this guy was on a show with Michael Moore.
Yeah, the name was familiar to me too.
He was on with Michael Moore, and I guess he and Sarah Palin got in a fight over a skate park. True story. Like, they talked about that for 15 to 20 minutes. They're on the Bernie Sanders, like, campaign. They're, you know, going for it. And they start talking about how Sarah Palin, and I guess she tore down a skate park, and he fought to get the skate park up or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's very strange. But I just feel like it was like, I don't know, I kind of got the impression that, you know, they were bored, but they had this sort of militaristic spirit about them, so they wanted to find something to fight about. Because you see it right here. We could fight a war for peace. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Give in to that easy living. Goodbye to my hopes and dreams. Start flipping for my enemies. We could wait until the walls come down. I'm a rebel just for kicks now. It's time to give a little to the kids in the middle. But oh, until it falls, it won't bother me. So, like, it looks like this guy, like, wanted something to fight about. Like, you know, no disrespect,
I see.
but...
A rebel just for kicks.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you just want to.
There's no real reason. I just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not gonna join the military and kid up and go overseas and do work. Which I'm glad he didn't. But he's still got that drive in him. And there are some people like that. Like we knew a guy who was just an activist and just wanted to get in trouble and But then when he got in trouble, he got a little scared.
A little.
He was a little scared. I have a lot more mercy on the guy than you do.
He wasn't a little scared. He was extremely scared.
He was not used to dealing with police and
I understand
the
that.
DA and all
I
the
would
rest
have
of
been
it.
scared too. I'm just saying you can't say a little scared when.
What do you
sexually
mean?
assault.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say you'd been scared too. Every time that comes up, you're always judging the kid.
No, I judge him. I do.
But you would have been scared too.
I would have been scared because I don't want to go to jail and be separated from my kids. It's like one of my worst fears.
Who does? He had kids too. He got more kids than you.
Yeah, but he didn't birth them, so it's different.
I thought the guy, he was valiant. He got scared. Nothing wrong with that. People start coming after you with the DA and all that. And if you don't have a certain type of constitution,
He didn't.
it's gonna put you in. Huh?
It should have been you.
Well, it was me. They
I know.
got quiet, and I did. I did.
He
what
was
I
born in
normally do.
81.
I did what I normally do.
Yeah, I know, but
Sori's standards for people are just.
no, not people.
They're absolutely maniacal.
No.
They're horrible.
Not for people, for men.
Yeah, men aren't people.
You're making it like a general. It's not. It's men. My standards for men are extremely high.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you could. I mean, I can't.
I had it out for him ever since he did that.
Yeah, I can't explain to you guys, the everything. I literally can't. But the guy was. Every other human being on the planet would have said that the guy was virtuous and would have given him a pass, but not Sori, because number one, Sori is she hates men, and number two, she compares everybody to me. That's
the issue right there.
Ridiculous.
That is the whole truth right there. I compare everyone to him, and I don't even have a correct view of him because we were watching the Michael Jordan documentary, and I said, I know that I'm wrong, but I still feel like you can beat Michael Jordan in a game. So not only do I compare everybody to Vin, but I have Vin on this ridiculous pedestal.
Now, that's not my fault, because I told her when I was on assignment in Kentucky one time, and I used to play ball at the
That's not my fault.
They call them the blue courts, and that's where the kids from the University of Kentucky would play. And these third string guys, like the guys were like bench warming for the bench warmers, would come out and play, and it was just like complete annihilation. And they were just playing around. Like you could tell they were playing around with us. One of the guys wouldn't even take off his tracksuit. He wasn't even sweating.
Yeah, but I feel like were you working out at the time?
I was on assignment.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in pretty
Well,
good.
you were under a lot of stress.
I was under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
It was a very stressful time, but basketball was how I de-stressed. There was no... I would come back...
You could beat Michael Jordan. You have that Kina. You could beat him.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of like the suburban type of thing, like let's go to war. And you get a really good return on the investment because they're really, what's the price really of going after Sarah Palin? You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen to you? Mm-hmm. You're going to get the cheap little thing from, your buddies, and oh, there you go. Like, it's not like you're going to get carted off by the DA. Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, I respect it though, because anytime you go up against City Hall, you got to respect that. I don't care how trivial you think it is, because at the end of the day, it puts you in the crosshairs of very powerful people. Mm-hmm. And those people are unforgiving, especially if you embarrass them in the media. So, you got to give it to them for that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people wouldn't even do that. I know you're not giving it to them for that, but I think it's a good song. I think it encourages people to say, yeah. And now more than ever, we need this. When was the song written? 2000 what?
You were just such a badass. I just can't.
2017. This was written in 2017. So we genuinely need more type of things like this because people need to resist. Because I think what the Democratic primary showed us is that one guy is not going to do it. This is an entire living, breathing organism that is determined to maintain power and will do things like right in front of your face. We're just going to take this from you in Iowa. So we need more energy like this, you know, because, you know, now it's time. You know, you had a little break in the 80s, had a little break in the 90s. 9/11 changed things a little bit, but we really didn't figure it out. But now people start to figure it out. And we need a lot more peaceful, non-violent rebellion.
I want to call the kids in here and see if they like it.
Like what?
Just give them a little clip. See what they say about it.
Go for it.
We shall return.
We shall return.
Okay, I just want to know what you guys think about this sound. What do you guys think?
That's so weird.
I feel like I've heard it before too.
I don't know, the beginning
Yeah.
was
Like this, like it happened the same thing with the beat of Rap Double. I heard it. I feel like I heard it before.
Like, it's,
Come back over here, still.
It's weird because it's a guy singing it.
Oh, you knew it was a guy?
That's a little
Okay.
weird.
Why is it weird?
Because it
It
sounds like
sounds
a
very
girl
feminine.
voice. It really does.
All
And
right.
it's just
Okay,
kinda
go. So
weird.
give it on a 1 to 10. What do you guys each give it?
That's a little
I
snippet.
hate weird things to 0.
That's a little snippet.
A 0.
At 3, I think.
3?
It's a I can't wait until I hear the rest of the song.
Well, it's the same thing over and over, basically.
Oh,
0.
then that's what it is.
All right.
A what?
7.5.
7.5? Okay. What are you giving it?
8.5. I think it's a very important message.
It's a 8.8 for me. I actually like the sound of it.
I like the sound, but it's
It
just
definitely
kinda weird.
stays in your head.
Yeah. This is like roll the top down and head to the beach and play that.
I agree.
All right.
I agree. Still be a cultural jihadist.
All right.
There you are. Well, Vin out.
Story out.
Say loud.
Gone.
Bush by the dopest out.
Nobody even understand what you said, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
I know you don't.
I don't think to me. That would never believe.
Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Got another mouth to feed. Leave it with the babies till the mama call the grave digger. Gone with the fallen leaves. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might have had your fill, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now. Feel it still. We could fight a war for peace. Give in to that easy living. Goodbye to my hopes and dreams. Stop flipping for my enemies. We could wait until the walls come down. It's time to give a little to the kids in the middle. Oh, till it falls. Won't bother me. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. Yeah, your love is an abyss for my heart to eclipse now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Might have had your fill, but I feel myself. Pick out, dust them off, put them back up on the shelf. Yes, my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Got another mouth to feed. Leave it with the babies till the mama call the grave digger. Gone with the falling leaves. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might have had your fill, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, feel it still. We could fight a war for peace. Give in to that easy living, goodbye to my hopes and dreams. Stop flipping for my enemies. We could wait until the walls come down. It's time to give a little to the kids in the middle. Oh, until it falls, won't bother me. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. Yeah, your love is an abyss for my heart to eclipse now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now.